Hello everyone, this is Gene from NYC and I'm back with a new video on this fine, rainy, cold Monday evening in New York City, New York. I hope that wherever you are, you're enjoying yourself, healthy, happy, safe, warm or cold, or wherever you be. I hope you're well. So, I want to apologize first for the lack of content. I haven't made a video in several days. My real life has been going crazy, and I've been running up and down to the hospital helping family members out, which means I've been wearing myself out. So I've been doing a lot of just running around, taking care of responsibilities, and then just sleeping. And I haven't exactly been enthused to make videos. So I figured, let me cover something new, try to sort of get back into the swing of things. So before I get the video officially started, I know that I do have a few new subscribers. I'm sorry I didn't take the time out to check and see if YouTube gave me any of your names. So to everyone, especially if you're new, who subscribed, thank you for subscribing. I hope you continue to enjoy the content. Content might be a little sporadic, given my real life and things that go on in the real world, but I will try to make content on a regular basis. So again, welcome back to everyone who's new. Welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy the video. So, if you are familiar with video games, and especially if you are familiar with Japanese RPGs or JRPGs, you no doubt know who this fine young lass is. This is one Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII. So, you may be wondering, why are you doing a video about Tifa? Well, I'm not really doing a video about Tifa. I'm doing a video about the controversy about Tifa's design. In particular, this part of her design. So if you don't know, if you're watching this channel you probably do know, but in case you don't know, just to recap, the Final Fantasy remake, apparently it's going to be released on PS5 now. It's been in talks and in works, I think, for like 20 years. I remember hearing about it back in like the PS2 and PS3 days. So it seems like at last we're finally going to get the Final Fantasy VII remake that a generation of gamers have been waiting for. And of course, in today's world, with people being hypersensitive about character designs, especially regards to women and hypersexuality and hypersexualization and PC and all this other stuff, Tifa's design, especially the very well-endowed element of her design, has again come under fire. Again, if you've followed video games, especially if you're familiar with the Final Fantasy video games, and this one in particular, the fact that Tifa's design and the very womanly and well-endowed element of her design is again cause for controversy probably does not surprise you. So I just wanted to give my opinions on other people's opinions, and especially those who feel that Tifa's design is problematic. Here's my viewpoint, especially as somebody who actually played Final Fantasy VII, who has Final Fantasy VII in her, I have like a drawer of old video games, and my copy of Final Fantasy VII is in there somewhere. So I've played it. I played it a lot growing up. My brother played it more. He's actually the one who finished it. I played it but never finished it. He actually got to the ending, and that's how I found out through the ending, through watching him. But I have a long history with this game. Right? It's the first Final Fantasy game I ever played. And to me, it's the one that when I think of Final Fantasy is definitive of the franchise for me. And I will say that at least of the JRPGs that I have played, and I've played a few. I played 8. I played Final Fantasy 8. I played Final Fantasy 10. I officially had it with Final Fantasy after Final Fantasy 10. That game really annoyed me. But I played Suikoden, and I played other Japanese RPGs, although they're much more my brother's thing. But I did play a good amount when I was younger. And for me, Final Fantasy 7 is the best one that I ever played. And in my totally biased opinion, I do think Final Fantasy VII is the best JRPG ever made. Again, just my opinion. But I do believe it's an opinion that is shared by many. So anyhow, back to the point of the video. Tifa's design. Is there anything wrong with Tifa's design? Because there are some in the outrage crowd who take issue with Tifa being such a busty young woman and wearing this, what they would consider, provocative outfit. And I will admit, she does have this, sexy bar girl vibe. But for me, especially looking at it from a more artistic point of view, I don't see this as necessarily overtly or overly sexual. When I look at Tifa, what I see is a very feminine design, right? Which is emphasizing the feminine elements of her body, in particular, her chest. I mean, as we all know, women give birth, right? Children are birthed at the hips and nursed at the breast. So the fact that her breasts are emphasized in her character design does not bother me or even surprise me. Because if you look at the art, whether it be statues or paintings or pictures or drawings, across different cultures and countries and religions and times, you'll see that feminine, how do I put this? The ideal feminine design, right? Or the ideal female body type, especially if it is in regards to a womanly figure, right? A goddess or a motherly figure, right? For a motherly figure, I'm kind of losing my place here, sorry. For a motherly figure and for an idealized female form, right? The hips, rear, legs, groin region, and the chest will typically be emphasized. Because again, women, this is the area of two areas of the body that are distinct to females and motherhood, right? So if a character is going to be motherly, or if she's going to be a mother or a motherly type character, she will typically have these body parts emphasized in her design. A good example of this in anime, at least from what I can recall, is Naruto, in the case of Hinata Hyuga. Now, before some people say, well, she didn't become a mom until at the end of the series or after the series, and she's a mom in Boruto, but she wasn't a mom in Naruto. That's true. However, she was especially from a Japanese perspective, she was a very motherly character and a motherly figure, right? She had a very motherly personality, like very sweet and kind and supportive and very shy, right? That's sort of, I guess, motherly ideal from a more Japanese perspective, at least from what I know of. If there's anybody who's Japanese, right, and it has a better understanding of Japanese culture than I do, like Hinata-chan, please let me know. But from what I've seen, those type of characters in Japanese anime and Japanese media, right, they have these very motherly, idealized motherly personalities, and they tend to get the more feminine design, especially if you compare Hinata to, say, Sakura or what was her name? Ino, the blonde? I forget her name. Not Tamari, the other one with the long hair. Her and Sakura had a crush on Sasuke when they were kids. That girl. I forget her name, or how to say her name. If you think of, or even Tamari, right? They were much more tomboyish than Hinata ever was. So their figures, at least from what I can tell, from my exposure to anime, their designs are much more slim. Their designs are not as developed or endowed and womanly, because again, they are more tomboyish. And speaking as a tomboy, right, tomboys typically don't want to have figures like Tifa's, right? That typically unnerves us. So we hope not to have it, and if we do, we try to hide it. Speaking as a tomboy with curves, who tried like hell to hide them as a teenager, I speak from personal experience. The attention these will net you can be very unnerving when you don't want to be looked at in a terribly feminine or sexualized way. So I can understand from an artistic standpoint why Tifa, being a very motherly character in the Final Fantasy VII games, having the very sweet motherly personality, has a design like this. And if you don't agree with me or believe me about mother figures and motherly figures having more feminine and developed bodies, I present to you Storm of the X-Men. See? Storm. What is Storm thematically as a character, especially in regards to her powers? She is Mother Nature incarnate. She's also had a motherly relationship with many of the younger characters in the X-Men, such as Kitty Pryde when she was a teenager. And look at Storm's design here. Now, I do know, especially in comics, Storm's design or any character's design changes depending on artist and what artistic design is popular at any one time. But as you can see here, and there's a reason why I chose this particular picture, but as you can see here, Storm, although very covered up, right, she's not showing any skin except for her face, right, she still has a very exaggerated feminine design at the hips and at the chest area. Because again, she's Mother Nature. She's a very motherly character in general. So again, it does not surprise me that a motherly character is going to have this type of very exaggerated feminine design. And as you can see here, this is not one of Storm's costumes where it looks like a swimsuit and she's just showing off skin. It's not, the costume itself, I'm saying, is not overtly sexual, right? She isn't showing any skin except for her face, yet this is still a very hyper feminine design. Again, because she is indeed Mother Nature. And given that, she gets a much more feminine design than, say, a character like Kitty Pryde has, especially once Kitty grew up. So again, mother character, the cat's casting a shadow. Of course he is. RJ. Hello, RJ. Hi. Hi, I'm trying to record right now. What are you doing? I'm trying to record. Okay, look, I love you to death, but I'm really trying to record and make a point about art. Can you stop, please? So anyway. Oh, God. RJ, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I know you like pretty girls. I own you, but still. Leave me alone. I apologize for the interruption. RJ, stop it. Stop it. I'm trying. RJ, stop. Stop it. Ow, stop it. Anyway, back to the point. As I think I've emphasized, Mother Goddess, or Mother Nature Goddess in this case, gets a very hyper feminine body. Right? Again, motherly character gets a very womanly womanly design, right? Again, emphasizing the parts of the body where a woman will nurse children, right? At least before the advent of baby bottles. And this is especially obvious when you compare Tifa to, say, Aerith. Well, that's Yuffie, actually. I thought I had Aerith. RJ, please. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But as I was saying, especially if you compare Tifa here to Yuffie, right, who's very slim, very slender. This cat's gnawing on my hand. RJ, stop. As I was saying, this is what happens when you record live. The cat tries to eat your hand. Anyway. As I was saying, right, especially compared to Yuffie here with the cat's gnawing on my hand again. RJ, stop. You see this very slim figure, right? Not too much going on in the hip department or the chest department because, again, she's a tomboy. Tomboys tend to get slimmer, much more modest designs than the more overtly motherly and feminine characters do. Another good example of this, right? Aerith also is obviously a very tomboyish character, as you can see here, right? The boots are the giveaway. Even here, right? Tifa has these big old boots, which shows that, you know, she has a tomboyish element, which I think is best shown in her fighting style, given that she's the only outright brawler in the game, at least among the female characters that I can recall. But you see here, the boots here are a symbol of her tomboyishness. You see the dress covering everything, right? Tomboys tend to be, at least in media depictions and in art, a bit more modest, right? You see the ponytail here in comparison to Tifa's hair, which is kind of ponytail-ish, but you can see it's looser, right? It's more in her face. It's freer, whereas Aerith's hair is much more braided, as you can see here. So there's visual elements that give you an idea of what each character is supposed to represent visually. She's a bit more tomboy. You see this, big old stick here. So again, I can understand from a artistic point of view why each character, whether it be Yuffie, whether it be Aerith, tilt that up, or whether it be Tifa, looks the way that they do. And as somebody who played the original game oh so long ago and remembers a lot of it, I don't find anything wrong with Tifa's design here. She has a right and deserves to have distinct physical features, just like any other character, just like any other real-life person would, right? If Cloud can have his distinctive physical design be his spiky hair, if Barret can be big and strong, then Tifa can be beautiful and tough and feminine and have long legs and big boobs and hips and big old boots, and she can beat up people too. I see no problem with her embodying feminine strength and beauty. I see no problem with her being a feminine character. Again, just to make the point clear, femininity is powerful. I repeat, femininity is powerful. So for those who have some sort of hang-up or issue about Tifa having an aesthetically pleasing form and having a well-endowed chest, get over yourself. Okay, get over yourself. It's art. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. But just because you don't like it doesn't mean that it is problematic. Maybe the problematic one is you. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, please forgive the cat's sudden entry and trying to bite my hand off. This is what happens when I record at home, live, and the cat wants to play. He does not care what I'm doing. He just wants his playtime, and he wants to eat my hand. Fortunately, my hand is alright. He didn't gnaw off too much. So anyhow, I hope you have a good night, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.